Time for our new segment called Charting Futures, where we dive into the futures markets through the charts. Today, we're taking a look at Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency is bouncing higher, with spot up for a second day in a row. And it seems that that's the first time that's happened this month, after comments on Tuesday from U.S. securities regulators calling for greater oversight of cryptocurrencies, but without proposing industry-killing measures. Now, the reason this is coming as a relief to Bitcoin investors, if we take a look at a longer-term chart, we are going to see, look at this absolute parabolic spike higher last year up into the all-time high on spot of 19,500, and then the big plunge, answering the question of whether or not Bitcoin was in a bubble, down 70% from that peak on a host of concerns, including the bubble popping and regulation. Now, while the long-term technicals do remain bearish for a move much lower potentially, there does appear to be upside in the near term. Let's hop into the Bloomberg and take a look at a relatively near-term chart. This is BTV 5250, and it is of the Bitcoin futures from December 18th. First of all, we see the downtrend. This was the bulk of that steep selling pressure. But what we have more recently, yesterday, Bitcoin at one point below $6,000 per Bitcoin. This area of congestion, a battle between the buyers and the sellers, is starting to break to the upside, suggesting that in the near term, we could see Bitcoin climb back up to that downtrend for potentially a near-term trade for those traders and investors who have the stomach for the volatility of Bitcoin. Now, doing this through the futures markets, if we take a look at another screen here in the Bloomberg, this is the description page on the Bitcoin futures. And up here, we see the notes. CME Bitcoin futures are based on the underlying of the CME CF Bitcoin reference rate. We also have the contract size, 5 Bitcoin. That's a value of more than $41,000. Here, daily price limits. This is a real advantage to trading on the futures exchange, considering it's basically the idea of a halter breaker or circuit breaker similar to stocks, but something you certainly don't have on crypto exchanges. And then the margins, those are relatively high, but unlike trading the underlying on crypto exchanges, where trading is often halted, plus there's the fear of being halted, that according to a trader I was talking to, on the futures exchanges, you really are working with a trusted, regulated, respected entity that gives you confidence that even if the underlying Bitcoin is going nuts on the day, very volatile, you can still trade it in an orderly manner. That's a look at Bitcoin through the futures markets for charting futures.